Welcome back to the Daily Move. Today we're doing a more advanced variation for happy feet. So we're going to be working the toes, the foot, the ankle, and a little bit into the knees as well. The items that you're going to need today is some kind of step, a stick, a ball, and then also a weight if you feel like you want to weight one of the exercises that we'll be doing today. So we're going to start on the step here with a calf raise. So go grab your step and we'll get started here. So you can see here I'm facing the step. I'm putting one foot up there. And then what I'm doing is I'm tucking my pelvis under and doing a slight body lean over top of the foot that is being flexed up by the step. You should feel the stretch into the calf. We're going to do 2 rounds of 30 seconds, switching legs each time. That's 30 seconds, switching for the first time. Again, get that proper setup, tuck that pelvis under, and then do that body lean. You want enough of a stretch where you can feel it, but not too much because then it won't let go. As you're standing here for the 30 seconds, you should feel the tension off that calf start to melt away. If not, just back off the stretch a little bit so that you can have that happen. So that's 30 seconds again. We're going to switch to that first side. That's 30 seconds, going to the second side for the last time. After this hold, we're going to need that stick. All right, grab that stick. We're going to go into a kneeling stance here, and we're going to place the stick right at the pit, right behind the kneecap. And then we're going to use our hands to put pressure into the calf. We're going to be here for about 2 minutes. And you can slowly start making that roll go down the calf. Or if you find a spot that you feel like you should just sit on for a while to allow it to release, you can do that too. So you'll notice here I'm using both my hands but also my body weight to sit down and place pressure into the calves. So again, you don't want so much pressure that your body is so tight that it can't release it. You just want enough that you can start feeling those tight spots starting to melt away. So you're still doing this mashing technique with the roll. Keep going. I'm just letting you know for the next exercise, we're going to need a ball. All right, so grab your ball. You're gonna put it down on the floor, and then you're gonna step on it with your foot. And what we're doing here is just rolling the bottom of the foot. Again, you don't want too much pressure. And where I'm focusing is the arch underneath my toes, but also the arch underneath my foot is kind of where I'm fixating my pressure. Okay, and switching sides. So keep rolling the bottom of the foot. We're gonna go back to this step. It's best for this next exercise to take off your sock so it's easier to see what your toes are doing. So we're gonna go up to the step here, and we're placing all 4 toes up onto the step, and then we're bending that knee so that it goes over top of the toes. You should feel a light stretch underneath the foot. You can overdo this, so just go gentle. Here's a second variation that's gonna just get into it a little bit deeper. So you can see I've placed my toes, and now I'm bending over top of it to feel a stretch in the back of my foot. Choose the option that feels best for you. Switching sides here, we're gonna repeat this on the opposite foot. So again, placing all your toes onto the step, and then you're bending your knee forward to feel a stretch on the bottom of the foot. Or you can do the more advanced option here, where you're putting the toes onto the ground and then you're lunging forward until you feel that stretch in the back of the foot. So now we're going to change it up and do the front of the foot now. So it's like I'm dragging the front of my toes onto the ground to feel a stretch into the front part of my foot and a little bit up into the shin. You can see here I'm just changing directions just to get different angles. You can play around until you find that stretch. Switching sides here. So next we have toe work. So you can see I'm lifting up both of my big toes and then all my little toes. So I'm alternating that. Big toes go up. Now little toes go up. Big toes go up. Little toes go up. So now all the toes come up, and now we're lowering the big toe. Big toe comes up, little toes go up. All the little toes come back up, big toe goes down. Big toe comes back up, little toes go down. Big toes go down, and then the little toes. So now we're going to piano key the toes down. So we're trying to go from the pinky toe and then the next toe and then each toe separately touching down until the big toe goes down. And now we're doing a short arch here. So you can see my arch getting bigger here as I drag my foot. Now be mindful that you're not just doing this with a toe crunch. Your toes should stay flat on the ground, and then you're just using the muscles inside the foot to create an arch here. We're gonna do between 3 to 5. If this is the first time of you ever doing these feet exercises, I would be more cautious and only maybe do 2 or 3. If you haven't worked these muscles in a while, you will notice them the next day, and we're trying not to make our feet too sore. So next we're working ankle eversion here. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my outside leg, I'm stepping over and then putting pressure into my ankle here. There should be no pain with this. You may feel a little bit of a stretch. We are trying to create a little bit more strengthening here, and you'll see some different variations if you need a more difficult option, but this is a great place to start. So again, we're going between 3 to 6 repetitions here and erring on the side of caution if you notice that you've never done these before. And now we're doing the opposite here. So I just have a wide stance here, and then what I'm doing is shifting my body weight into my opposite leg so that my ankle can roll in, working ankle inversion here. So now we're switching sides, going back to eversion, going on to the knife blade of the ankle there. And now we're going to take that wide stance, putting pressure onto the inside of the foot there to roll it in. So next what we're going to do is we're going to do some walking steps here. We're going to start on the outside of our feet here as we take a few steps. And now we're going to go on to the inside of the feet here. Next, we're going to lift up the heels onto our toes and go for a walk. And then we're going to reverse that up onto our heels so our forefoot lifts up. Same thing, we're going to go for a little bit of a walk here. It's nice to have soft padding for this. So if you want a harder variation, you can go into a squat. So you can see I'm crossing my legs over, I've got the weight into the knife blades, and then I'm sitting down. And then I'm changing the legs, and I'm kind of doing like a squat walk here. So I did 6 total, 3 a side. If you want to start building up on the endurance, you can. So after I've done 6, I'm going into a wide stance, pushing the knees together to start putting weight onto the inside of the feet. Go slow with this. If you're feeling any pulling into the knee, I want you to stop. So next, you're going to go up onto your toes, go into a squat. You're going to start pushing your knees down towards the floor, and you should feel a stretch into the bottom of the feet. I have to lean back in order to feel it. And now you're going to go into a deep squat here, going up onto the toes, lowering back down, back up onto the toes, and then standing up. So that's 1 repetition there. Going back into a squat, pushing the knees forward, trying to get both knees to touch the ground at the same time. Leaning back, and then going back into a squat, going up onto the toes, and then standing back up. Trying to lower down at the same time, leaning back. And you'll see here I'm kind of pushing my hips up a little bit just to get a deeper stretch into the back of my feet. Deep squat, up onto the toes, lower those heels back down, up onto the toes, and then stand on up. So I've done 4 repetitions here. My legs were starting to burn, but if you want to do anywhere from 3 to 6 repetitions, go for it. So next we're going into a squat here, and what we're doing is transferring the weight over top of the foot there, feeling a good stretch into the back of the calf there. We're also warming up the knees. So you can do this without a weight, or you can add in the weight. So for this variation here, we are allowing the heel to go up. And you can stay in one place, just rocking side to side, or you can do what I'm doing here where I'm starting to travel, picking up the leg, planting it down, and just working that ankle into different variations here. Whatever feels good. Go slow with this. If you have any knee issues like meniscus tears, ACL, this stuff will be very challenging for the knee, so please proceed with caution. Again, if there's any pain, it's not worth this exercise. So next, we're just going to focus on one foot now. And what we're doing is pushing the knee over top of the toe. We're going to go into a straight push. And then what we're going to do is drive that knee to the outside towards the pinky toe, and then to the inside towards the big knee. And we're just alternating between those three. This one here, we want the heel to stay down on the ground as we're performing this. And switching sides here, we're gonna do the same thing. So push that knee over top of that toe, then go out to the pinky toe, and then out to the big toe. You can go slow or a little bit faster with this motion, whatever feels good. So this next exercise is pretty advanced. We're sticking our heel into the ground, and then we're pulling our body weight over top of it. So you'll see here, I'm digging my heel in to pull the knee over. Feel free to use the arms on the ground to do this. Now you can just stay here where you go back and forth, or you can start traveling with this as well. Again, if your hamstrings feel like they're going to rip off, please don't do this exercise. It is a lot of hamstring recruitment in order to do this. And if you want to make this more challenging, try not to touch the ground as you create those transitions. So there we were recruiting the hamstrings. Now we're recruiting the adductors. So you can see how I'm sliding from side to side instead of forward to back. So I'm using that straight leg and I'm pulling my foot down into the mat in order for my body to start transferring to the opposite side. So this is working more the adductors, the muscles that are inside the thigh, versus that other exercise that was working more the hamstrings, which is behind the leg. So it just felt right to do this hip flexor stretch to a hamstring stretch. We just worked that hamstring. So I'm just going back and forth 5 times here just to stretch out that hamstring a little bit more and getting into that hip flexor a little bit. Once you've repeated it 5 times on one side, we're just going to switch here, doing the same thing. So once you finish your 3 to 5 reps there, you can go into this butterfly, but really I'm just setting up so that I can do some ankle rolls here. So one leg's out straight, I'm crossing the other one over and then using my hand to make circles. This is the end of the advanced ankle and feet. So I'm just kind of loosening it up, basically using my hand to make that motion happen. So hopefully by the end of that, your calves, your ankles, and the bottom of your feet are feeling good. Again, this was a little bit more of an advanced way to work the feet and the ankles. So work at your own progression. If you want an easier version, I do have a Happy Feet version 1, which is easier exercises to start with, and then you can progress up to this. I hope you enjoyed today's daily move. Take care, everyone.